Hallo und willkommen zurück zu Age of Decadence. Und ja, wir werden dieses Mal dieses Ding hier betreten. Was nur ging, indem wir das Auge aktiviert haben. Woher ich das habe, weiß ich gar nicht mehr. Das habe ich mir einbauen lassen. Und dann können wir jetzt den Handschuh aktivieren mit unseren 3 Dingern hier. Interact. Insert 3 power tubes. You put on the ghost hand glove, flex your fingers and insert the tubes one by one. Your fingers feel a bit strange, as if you were moving them underwater, but other than that, there is no noticeable effect. You're standing, oh ja, genau, das hatten wir. Remove the eye patch, examine the machines. Use the ghost hand. You put on the ghost hand glove. Your fingers feel a bit strange, as if you were moving them underwater, but other than that, there is no noticeable effect. Try examining the machines again. You try to touch the nearby machine again, and this time your gloved hand hits solid metal. Fortunately, the controls aren't very complicated. You throw down the switch and the machine comes to life. You turn to the second machine. The men look with curiosity as you move around, making strange movements with your hand. Suddenly, one of them cries out and points at the arc. The archway is glowing with blue light. What have you done, Kordanor? If House Aurelian gets wind of this, I'm as surprised as you are. So now what? Asked Espinus. Are you going to go through? Enter the glowing light. One small step for you, one giant leap for mankind. The glow envelops you, pours through you, washing away pain and anxiety. You are floating in a warm, rolling sea, weightless and without care. Your only feeling is expectation, the sublime knowledge that change is imminent. You're about to transcend. As the unearthly light recedes, you sense that something has been left behind. There is a shadow in the back of your mind, a presence you cannot comprehend. Slowly, the understanding dawns that something else, some alien entity, shares your being now. Perhaps share isn't the right word. Instinctively, you scramble to get away, but your limbs are moving of their own accord. No, they respond to a new master. Your attempts to scream your horror produce only a small croaking sound, as your lips begin mouthing weird syllables in a dead language, meaningless to you. Your feeble protests are cut short by a gout of blood filling your throat. Organs are rupturing inside you, torn and rearranged as if an invisible surgeon had decided to repurpose your system, discarding what he doesn't need. Beyond the red of the blood pouring in your eyes, darkness is falling over you like a shroud. From now on, stay away from the glowing subjects. Aha. Das war ja nicht so toll. Was ist denn unsere andere Option? Let's send in the slave first. It's gonna cost you, says Espinus, matter-of-factly, while studying the blue glow. 100 a head? Sure, pay him and send a slave through. Espinus' men pick one of the slaves and drag him towards the glowing archway. Though he looks sickly, the man puts up quite a fight, screaming and writhing so much that it almost looks as if he might break free. At the border of the mysterious gateway, a hand he meant to brace against the arc instead slips through, disappearing into the blue glow. The slave freezes in place, his expression contorted in the expectation of torture. But then he looks in wonder down the length of his arm and exhales in relief. Whatever the effect of the magical light, it is apparently not painful. At that moment, his body is jerked violently up and down at the wrist like a fish caught in a hook. And he is yanked brutally forward. The slave vanishes into the glow, his last blood-curdling stream neatly severed. There isn't even an echo. Fuck me, whispers Espinus. He makes the sign against evil spirits. though he himself obviously doubts its effectiveness in this situation. Close it, Kordanor, quickly, before it gets us all. Not yet. Wait. Minutes pass, and the tension eases somewhat as everyone realizes there is no immediate danger. Aspenus opens his mouth to offer another useless suggestion, but it's silenced when the slave's face, just his face, emerges from the glow. It resembles a corpse floating face up in a pond, and you assume he is dead until the unblinking eye fixes on you. The mouth, still stretched in a scream of agony, twitches, and a trickle of blood runs down the chin to trip on the sand. Ask, it says. The lips stay open and do not move again as the voice sounds deep and guttural. I seek an ancient temple. Yes, say the dead lips with strange eagerness. Al-Akia. The eyes rolls back and the face sinks back into the glow. Send in another slave. Another slave? Asks Aspenus. He stops to swipe at the perspiration streaming down his brow. You want to talk to that thing again? What's the cost of a slave, or 10 slaves, or 1,000 compared to what we might learn? You're right. I'm worried about the cost, said Aspenus. I'm worried that it won't be measured in slaves. Alright, one more, but that's it. He gestures to his men, and this time they grab a young woman. The slave tries to cling to her fellows, but they stand well back, kicking her away. As the guards lead her to the archway, she stops resisting, instead choosing to look straight at you as she is pushed into the glow. The woman's grey and lifeless visage bobs to the surface. Ask, says the dead woman. What is this place? Her face begins to shrivel before your eyes, folding in itself until it disappears. Enormous shadows are shifting within the glow. We are done, says Aspenus, looking pale. Shut it down before it decides to cross over. I never knew you were such an old woman, Aspenus. If it had the power to cross over the world, we would already be dead. In this place, I am its master. You're fucking with things you don't understand. There's a reason these things were buried and deliberately forgotten. Take my advice, if your pride lets you. Leave them buried, walk away, and tell your masters nothing. I have a question, I will see them answered. If it's about the money, name your price. I don't want your money, says Aspenus grimly. Gods, no, I am not a saint, but what you are doing here is... He pauses to search for the right word, but gives up. Just make it quick. He nods to the guards. The slaves are shaking now, as panicked as rabbits smelling blood. The chosen one, this time, understands exactly what is at stake, and it's a long struggle to get him to the portal. But soon enough, another dead face parts the glow and turns its unfocused eye on you. Ask. Who are you? I have no name, save the one given to me by your kind. What are you then? You cannot grasp my nature, any more than an ant can grasp yours. Your kind thinks that a man is the measure of all things. It is not so. What's in Al-Ikea? It is the place where it began. It is the place where it will end. What do you want me to do? The path must be opened. A vessel must be provided. The compact must be honored. What compact? A promise was made. It will be fulfilled. It was a long time ago. The people who made the deal with you are long dead. And if I open the path and provide the vessel? In serving me, you will be the highest of your kind. You will lord over your kind, and they will be your slaves, just as you will be mine. This is place. A tear in the fabric of this world, a ragged hole ripped open by the Magi's engines. Can you travel through it? Our worlds are too different. You can exist in mine. I do not wish to be a washed-up whale in yours. It is said that the first of the Magi traveled to your realm. Yes, I remember him, says the dead man, grudging respect coming in at the edge of his voice. But you are nothing like him. The power does not flicker inside you. He was arrogant in his strength. You are merely arrogant. What will he do? He thought he could chain me, make me his slave. I did not believe it. Such a fragile form, but so much power. Shut it down. I'm getting out of here. I suggest you do the same and keep what you saw to yourself. Hm. Nö. Das sagen wir jetzt mal an den Dings weiter. Alles. Erstmal gehen wir zu Cassius. Ne. Nö, mit dem können wir gar nicht reden. Na toll. Gucken, ob wir hier im Palast was machen können. Meru, nö. Nö, kann man auch nichts machen. Ja, mit Samedi habe ich ja auch noch nichts gemacht. Ja, keine Ahnung, wie da was sein soll. Creature, mit denen können wir nicht reden. Ja, dann haben wir nur noch die Old Facility. Hellgate, damit kommen wir halt wieder zu dem... Wir haben ein paar Skillpunkte bekommen. Moment, machen wir mal. Mal den Test 6 draus. Aber. Gucken wir mal, ob wir diese Kisten hinten mit den Traps noch aufbekommen. Ja, der Typ mit dem Speer. Was er mit dem Speer machen kann, ist halt auch noch so eine Sache. Die kann man nicht aktivieren. So. Dann machen wir jetzt Traps hoch. Naja, 5 ist jetzt auch nicht viel. Crafting kriegen wir auch nicht auf 8, um das zu testen. Ich glaube, die waren das. Quatsch. Ja. Okay, dann hätte sich das erledigt. Ich meine, das könnten wir theoretisch machen. Aber das will ich eigentlich gar nicht. Dann haben wir das hier noch. Ja, also mit Garnica, das ist mal extrem dämlich gemacht, dass man da nicht mehr weiterkommt. Ich habe ja jetzt gar keine Option mehr, irgendwie da eine Quest weiterzuführen. Ist einfach nur Flöpp zu Ende. Und die Story, die dann kommt, die macht überhaupt gar keinen Sinn. Mit irgendeiner Belagerung, die gar nicht stattgefunden hat. Blind Man. Glaube ich auch. Okay. Ja, keine Ahnung. Wir haben halt noch das da. Oder gibt es hier noch eine Location, die ich übersehen habe irgendwie? Also es gibt auf jeden Fall noch weitere Locations, wo ich anscheinend nicht hingekommen bin. Irgend so ein Tempel. Vielleicht kommt man da später hin. Habe ich zumindest in den Achievements gesehen. Aber ja. Okay, dann machen wir hier mal den Hatch auf. Open the power, open the hatch door. Ja, das hatten wir ja alles schon. Was ich halt nicht geschafft hatte, war das Ding dann nicht zu crashlanden. Ja, das hatten wir ja auch schon. Use the jellyfish artifacts. Use the prayer of air elementals. Search your money after all. You're not the wisest of men. Failure. Nope, nothing. Want to ring it? As the old saying goes, if you can ride a horse, you can pilot an ancient flying battleship or something. Take her to Garnica. Proving that man wasn't meant to fly, the ship crashes less than 10 minutes after the takeoff. First, one of the engine overheats, conjuring mysterious red symbols over the consoles. The symbols dance and multiply, daring you to do something about it. Ever a man of action, you start pulling random levers in the most decisive manner. Oddly enough, this heroic display of taking charge and stepping up to the plate fails to satisfy the gods. You hear a deep rumbling sound, warning you that nothing is good is coming your way. The ship shakes a few times, as if coming apart, then takes a dive and hits the ground hard, throwing you against the wall. I can't believe it! I mean, you and the ship and the fire. Do you have any idea what all of this means? What are you going on about? The man's jaw drops open. He fumbles in the pockets on his robe, looking for something. You have a feeling that this is the beginning of a very different story and decide to leave it alone for now. You walk away before the man has a chance to say anything. Na super. Okay. Quick Save. Also mit noch mehr Lore. Lore 9. We beheld in the sky what appeared to us to be a mass of scarlet clouds resembling the fierce flames of a blazing fire. From that mass many blazing missiles flashed, and tremendous roars like the noise of 1,000 drums beaten at once. And from it fell many weapons winged with gold, and thousands of thunderbolts with loud explosions, and many hundreds of fiery wheels. Loud became the uproar of falling horses slain by these missiles, and of mighty elephants struck by the explosions. It's a rare mantra dedicated to ancient flying chariots that were made of blessed iron and gifted with the power of the gods. The mantra contains detailed praying instructions that might persuade the air elementals to pull such a chariot as if they were horses. Chariot awaits. Do your thing. You put your hands on the controls and conjure the air elementals, commanding them to possess the ship and do your bidding. The air elementals are fickle and might play along only to abandon you in mid-flight, watching your ship plumbing down in delight. To avoid it, you follow the ritual to the letter, warding off the ship against mischief and securing the tethers binding the elementals. Slowly, the ship rises up in the air. You order the elementals to turn it around and pull it forward. Take it to Garnitsa. Und jetzt? Meru? You're standing in front of Lord Meru. He is dressed in the Eastern manner and has an aura of humility and piousness about him. Although you can't say whether he is a humble and pious man or merely wants to come across as one. His guards stand behind him, clearly alarmed by the sights of the ship looming over them. It's been a long time since a ship docked in Garnesa, says Meru calmly. The ship is yours, my lord. Wieso sollten wir dem das jetzt weitergeben? Das macht überhaupt keinen Sinn. The ship is yours, my lord. There are no lords here, brother. Are we not all equal in the gods' eyes? We are measured only by our devotion and faith. Now tell me about the ship, says Meru. Is it operational? It's badly damaged. It can be repaired. If you have skilled lawmasters specializing in engine works and thaumaturgy, it would take months, if not years, regardless of its state. We are grateful for restoring this symbol of our city to its rightful place. Ja, fuck you. Ich will das gar nicht. Aber jetzt können wir wahrscheinlich mit dem eine Audienz bekommen. The true believers are always welcome here, says the guard, gesturing to his man to open the gate for you. Naja. Hat natürlich jetzt auch böse Skillpunkte gekostet. Da ist Bart. Varro. Over the course of its life, Varro has developed a pragmatic observation that life is all about survival and making it to the next day. Principles and other questionable qualities were dead weight and would get you killed and were no use for you once you're dead. Thus, loyalties and honor were nothing but summer flowers, pretty when it's warm but quickly forgotten when the harsher seasons come. Such a season did come recently, putting an untimely end to a score of the boatman and Varro's career as the guildmaster and presenting him with new opportunities. Approach. Welcome to Garnesa, Master Kordanor, smiles Varro. What can I do for you? Nix. Meru. Ja, aber wenn das jetzt die einzige Möglichkeit war, Da reinzukommen, das wäre schon scheiße. You're standing in front of Lord Meru. He is dressed in the Eastern manner and has an aura of humility and piousness around him, although you can't say whether he's a humble and pious man or merely wants to come across as one. There are no guards in the room, nothing that would highlight his status and station. Lord Meru is accompanied only by a plainly dressed man with thinning hair and dark eyes that seem to penetrate your very soul. My lord. There are no lords here, brother. Are we not all equal in the gods' eyes? We are measured only by our devotion and faith. Serve faithfully, give yourself to the gods, and you too will stand one day where I stand now. Do I have no gods? Who'd raise a hand against a servant of the gods? Of course, evil knows no bounds, but I have faith in Phalon. He points at the man standing next to him. He is more than capable of shielding me from harm. The man smiles unpleasantly, still fixing you with his eyes. Suddenly, you realize that you can't move. Your legs and arms stiffen and become heavy as if filled with lead. The man smirks disdainfully and looks away, releasing you. God have blessed Phalon with great powers, far above those of mere mortals. He was lost for a long time, but he serves a great cause now, as do we all. I have many questions. Of that I have no doubt, my child. On the surface, your deeds seem to speak for themselves. They tell me that your heart is in the right place, and yet there are some who say that it's nothing but an act, that you are not a man to be trusted, which is the most grievous charge. Who is accusing me? Master Feng, my new lawmaster. He's a very pious and humble man, not the type to speak against someone without reason. Yes, speak he did. Did he say how he came to possess such knowledge? He didn't elaborate and seemed hesitant to speak about it at first, but he felt that he had to warn me. He said you had the reputation of an untrustworthy character with few redeeming qualities. So you will condemn me based on hearsay then, despite the fact that my deeds, as you say, speak for themselves? Test my faith and devotion and see for yourself. You're right, says Meru suddenly. Should you be truly unworthy, the oracle will remain silent. What would you have me do? Keep your heart and your soul open to the gods, and you will inspire many. What more can a faithful ask for? Ist ja super. Und jetzt? You failed to impress Meru. Return to Athanasius. Show him the map. So, you are the blasphemer, shouts Meru, his face growing red with anger. Blasphemer? I've heard rumors that someone was looking for the lost temple of the gods to deliver it to the unbelievers. They will loot and destroy it, denying us all the salvation. Everything we've done will be undone in an instant. You will doom us all, and for what? For a handful of coins? For an empty title? For your pride? Answer me! What must I do, brother? I beg forgiveness? You will have to earn it. Repent and become a symbol of mankind. A sinner who wanted to desecrate the holy shall see the light and kneel before the divine. Shall be the first to be blessed and guided. Serve the gods and rise above many. Refuse me. Refuse the gods and you won't live long enough to spend your ill-gotten money. This I promise you. Guide me, brother. It is your destiny to find the temple. Find it and guard it with your life. The gods will give you strength. Make sure that nothing is taken or disturbed. This task is more important than the struggle of plenty lords and their illusions. Na toll. Phalon? Phalon fixes his unblinking eye on you for a moment, stopping you in your tracks, then quickly looks away. You take a moment to recollect your thoughts. How do you do it? I just do it. I just do, says Phalon, his voice grating and harsh. Brother Meru says that I am touched by the gods. I used to think I was cursed. Now I am not sure. Why? It brought me nothing but pain. I was befallen half to death more times than I can remember. I drifted between the worlds for days at a time, and that's when my gift grew stronger. You drifted between the worlds? That's what my brother told me. He was looking after me until a sickness took him. I slept for days, neither dead nor alive, nor no healer could wake me up, yet my brother never gave up. He dripped sugary water into my mouth and waited until I wake up. He begged me to keep my eyes down, but I just couldn't. The thrill, the excitement, the power, it was all too much for me. How was I supposed to know that I was being tested by the gods? So now you serve Brother Meru? He saved me from the gallows and gave me purpose. When I took my first life, the pain was excruciating. I was within those men when they died. Or maybe I was all these men and died one body at a time until only my own was still breathing. There are many living things that kill, yet what killer gets to experience this victim's suffering and live through it? Did you kill again? I did, says Phelan, showing no emotions. Brother Meru convinced me that the gift was given to me for a reason. It would be an affront to the gods to reject their gift. Sharing the agonies and dying over and over again are my pinnacle and absolution. I think he's right. The pain is indiscernible, yet I find that I miss it when I go too long without punishing the human wickedness. Does your power grow still? It took all my strength to kill a man for the first time. I was exhausted and drained of energy for days. Now I can stop your heart from beating as easily as swatting a fly. The telltale signs suggest that Phelan is lying. Whatever his power is, he can't stop your heart and do anything of that sort, which doesn't mean that he isn't dangerous. Do you share Brother Meru's beliefs? I want to feel what Brother Meru does, says Phelan, but I can't. It too is denied to me. For a moment, there are sounds. There he sounds angry, but then he closes his eyes. His lips move, either praying or counting. When he opens his eyes, you can read nothing in them. I must have faith. The gods have a plan for me. Also das ganze Gedöns macht überhaupt keinen Sinn gerade. Reden wir nochmal mit dem Gildentypen und gucken, was wir da jetzt als nächstes haben. Ich meine, ich kann natürlich einfach in den Tempel gehen und da mehr oder weniger das Ende triggern, aber das ist sinnlos. I have made any progress, inquires Athanasius. I did what Meru asked, but he isn't ready to let me in yet. Maybe he needs a nudge or two, says Athanasius, not appearing to be overly concerned or surprised. What can you tell me about Meru and his creed? Not much. Meru appears to be sincere in his beliefs. His creed is relatively simple. We turned away from gods, so gods turned away from us. If we want them to guide us out of darkness, we need to show them proper respect, since there aren't too many people who prefer the current state of affairs or have any viable alternative from what Meru suggests. The creed grows stronger and attracts more followers with every passing day. I see, says Athanasius, stroking his beard. And what do you think? Meru did stumble upon something old and forgotten in a cellar. He believes he talked to gods, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to earn their favor. These gods appear to be eager to return once Meru does the groundwork. The creed can be a powerful weapon though, with or without the gods. Quite so, says Athanasius, lost in his thoughts. Well then, since we are of the same mind here, let's move forward. What do you have in mind? Meru is weak. He surrounds himself with people who reinforce his beliefs and inspire his own piety. Piety? It's a crowded spot already, so we'll have to work harder to make some room for you. I can deliver the miracles you need, but you will have to convince Meru that you're a genuine article. Can you do that, Kordanor? Miracles? The prophet speaks in a booming voice and sets people on fire. The freak can hypnotize people. You will need miracles to herald your coming, and miracles you shall have. The finest money can buy. Deliver the miracles, I will do the rest. Splendid, smiles Athanasius. It will take some time to arrange the miracles, so come and see me in a few days. You spend the next few days reading everything you can find on the gods various self-proclaimed and usually short-lived prophets. While you wait, Athanasius Gold is hard at work, spreading rumors of miracles and sending witnesses eager to buy drinks and speak to all who'd listen. Even the fact that you are virtually unknown is turned to your advantage, painting you as a humble man who seeks piety, not glory. It's time, says Athanasius. I did all I could and nearly drained our coffers in the process. Everything you ever wanted is within your grasp now. Tell me when you're ready. You gain a new insight, bla bla, 20 Skillpunkte. Ich kann ja hier quickseifen. Ich habe ja im Endeffekt diesen Teil noch nichts getan, außer rumgetestet. Have you made any progress? I'm ready to do some miracles. Everything is set. Go to the castle and may the gods be with you. A large crowd mills around the castle gates with the palpable hostility of ants, looking for the one who kicked their nest apart. As you get closer, you see the people are all sick of or afflicted in various ways, limping, disfigured, or with pox-ravaged faces, and their ringing shouts resolve into demands for healing. Wherever Athanasius found these poor wretches, their righteousness is certainly convincing. Confused, Meru's zealots are trying to restore the order, urging the wretches to go home, but their attempts are in vain. One of the wretches, a blind man with glazed over white eyes, turns his head towards you, sniffing the air like a dog, and cries, "He can help us! I feel it! The blessings of the gods is upon him!" The man gives you a barely perceptible nod and drops on his knees. Lay your hands on him. You place your hands on the wretch's face and pray, invoking the gods and begging them to restore the man's eyesight, for no faithful should be condemned to darkness. The wretch takes his time, shaking and shivering, and when you're almost out of steam, he screams, "I can see!" rubbing his eyes in fake disbelief. Hardly original, but it will do. Find the next patient. You scan faces and quickly spot another quick nod, this time from a man with the crutches. You give him the same treatment, quickly producing another miracle. The man throws away the crutches, happily announcing that he can walk. He doesn't put as much effort as the blind wretch, but the crowd buys it all, eager for more. The gates open and a tall man in dark robes steps outside. The guards snap to attention and salute. Must be an important man in Meru's hierarchy. The man stops, watching you with apparent concern. One more miracle should do the trick. You pick your next target, an overly dramatic woman who doesn't have any obvious handicap, but the zealot stops her with a gesture. "Not her," says the zealot. His voice is quiet, but carries enough weight to silence the crowd. "Him." He points to a pale man standing a few feet away. Attempt to heal the man. "What ails you, brother?" "Chest pain, oh holy one," says the man, bowing deeply. "It's gotten worse. I saw several healers, but they couldn't help me." "That's because the gods are testing you, brother. I see their mark on you as clearly as I see you. That's why the medicine does nothing. It's time to do a real miracle." The man in front of you wants to believe. The first two miracles only reinforce his conviction that his pain can be taken away, that his suffering is at the end. He just needs a little push to make it real. You lock your eyes with his, place your hands on his chest and start praying, loudly and theatrically. "Do you feel it, brother?" "I feel nothing," says the man, almost in tears. "Your faith is weak, brother. You want to believe because you want to get better. But that's not enough. Faith is a soil in which miracles grow and bloom. You have to open your soul, brother. Until you do, you won't get better." "What must I do then?" asked the man. "You must pray for guidance for 3 days and 3 nights, abstaining from food and drinking nothing but a cup of water at the end of each day. Then the answer will be revealed to you." "Are you sure?" asked the man hopefully. "You must have faith, brother. It's what separates us from the godless and the god-forsaken." "Thank you, O Holy One," says the man, bowing even deeper and kissing your hand. "This was inspiring," says the zealot. Come, brother. Come, Brother Meru wants to see you now. Go see Meru." I've heard a lot about you since we've last met, says Meru, giving you a hard look. They say that you are a holy man, that your touch heals and your voice inspires, that the gods whisper in your ear. The last bit sounds like an accusation. I'm made no such claims, Brother Meru. Yet many do, and what's troubling is that these stories appeared almost overnight. I'm humble that my words and deeds had such profound effect. Ganesa must be truly a holy city if its people's hearts and minds are so open. It is a holy city, yet it is my duty as its shepherd to question each voice that claims to speak on behalf of the gods. I understand your caution, yet how can a man, any man, question and judge such a voice? What man can judge the divine and will rule on its authenticity? Very well, says Meru, looking at you strangely. We'll let the gods question you, brother. I can assure you that I will abide by their judgment. Come with me. Follow him. Meru takes you deeper and deeper into the castle. Two stone-faced guards appear out of nowhere the moment you leave the audience chamber and follow you, staying a few steps behind. Eventually, Meru stops in front of an old metal platform. We're almost there, he says anxiously, inviting you to join him. One of the guards throws the switch and the platform starts to a slow descent into the bowels of the castle. The platform comes to a stop near the ancient gate, two heavy slabs of dark metal bearing the golden symbol of House Crassus. Your destiny awaits you, says Meru, pointing at the gate. Be warned, many went through this door over the years, yet few came out. If you have doubts, turn away, for faith is your only shield when you present yourself to the gods to be judged. What happened to those who failed? Some were struck dead, others lost their minds. Did anyone pass the test? I did, says Meru with pride. Truly, the first acolyte. The prophet passed the test too, although he was barely alive when the guards came for him. Not Phelan? Phelan is besieged by doubts, but what he lacks in faith he makes up for in loyalty. Go through the doors. Aha, das sieht interessant aus. You enter a massive, strangely decorated chamber, but at once step back, was dizzied and from an abyss. Above the rock ceiling is hewn with arcane symbols, while at your feet is a vast open space, bottomless night sky of alien stars, forming no constellations you recognize. This uncanny, unnatural sorcery beyond your imagination. You shrink from it instinctively, as if pushed by an invisible hand against the reassuring firmness of the stone wall. Examine it. Machinery hums on all sides, giving the impression that this chamber is but one part of a humongous complex. Pipes of all sizes snake in and out of the walls beneath the lip of the parapet, glowing deeper down where the stone walls end and black sky begins. Finally, you are able to drag your eyes up to the walkway leading out over the abyss. The throne there seems to wait for one worthy enough, powerful enough to claim it. It beckons to you. You pause to consider, for the greater the technology, the greater the need for caution. You search your memory for any reference which might apply to this place and recall a tractate dedicated to an ancient artifact similar to what you've discovered here. This device was created to detect tears in the fabric of the world. These tears were said to be incredibly rare, and the description of the exact cause is more or less gibberish to you. An unspecified event where, in defiance of the natural order, some cosmic waves failed to collapse. This failure creates a physical anomaly which occupies the same space in two different dimensions at the same time. The hill on which Castle Ganesa was built was supposedly erected from the plane for defensive purposes. Though it would seem much easier and cheaper to simply choose an existing hill. Could it be that House Crassus raised the hill specifically to enclose and study one of these tiers, which happened to manifest itself hundreds of feet above the ground? Explore the room. Ja, examine the throne. Ansonsten haben wir jetzt hier auch gar nichts, oder? Da wartet der Meru. Da bin ich wieder. Kein Bock mehr. Your faith isn't strong enough. Okay. Laden wir nochmal. Take a seat. You know what? You want to. Okay. Constitution intelligence success. Ever so slowly, you ease yourself onto the seat, expecting, dreading what might happen. The chair is hard and uncomfortable, but except for your palms tingling on the armrests, seems ordinary. You become aware of a low mind in the chamber. But before you can locate the source, it resolves into the murmur of distorted voices in your ears. Your head knocks against the back of the throne, and your fists clench as your mind is flooded with confusing succession of images. You see metal spires and blazing suns, unfamiliar landmasses laid out like a map, and the violet waves of another world's oceans. Each of these inexplicable visions is accompanied by raw emotions. Hatred, curiosity, sadness, and other alien, unnameable sensations. You shake your head violently as if to dispel a nightmare, but these visions come not from your brain, but from some outside agency. The chaos continues, intensifies into an anguished blur, until your mind finally succumbs to a merciful darkness. Wake up. You open your eyes on the dim light of the stereo-floored chamber, blood and bile dripping from your mouth, weak and disoriented. You crawl away from the chair, cursing the Ancient Ones and their bizarre devices. Ich laufe nochmal hier rüber. Na gut. Und jetzt? You're alive! Exclaims Meru in disbelief. The gods found you worthy of their blessing. I'm humbled by the gods' graces. Was there ever any doubt? What did they tell you? They say that our destinies are intertwined and that together we'll bring the gods' kingdom to earth. Rejoice, brother, for I was chosen. The gods finally have a champion. Das hier. The gods move in mysterious ways, Meru says dryly. An expedition is leaving for Al-Akia tomorrow. I want you to join it, unless you have more important things to do. What can be more important than bringing glory to the gods? I will see you tomorrow, brother. Leave the castle. I'm ready to join the expedition. Travel to Al-Akia. On the morning of your departure, you discover you will be traveling in the company of 4 grizzled lawmasters and, surprisingly, a small detachment of Imperial guards. During the journey, you learn these lawmasters aren't your typical weekend market hucksters. They learned their trade the old-fashioned way, robbing tombs and fighting off brigands. They are also in charge of the expedition, dictating where and when the party will stop in order to accommodate the constant referencing of stars and landmarks against their maps. These consultants regularly lead to heated arguments, consultations, almost to the point of blows, all in a language only they understand. The guards simply keep to themselves. 6 long days under the naked sun bring your group to the ruins of Al-Akia, which at first seem to consist of nothing but a miniature pyramid, barely taller than a grown man. A close examination of the area reveals 4 other derelict structures, peeking out from the sand, equidistant from the central dings. Meru's men cluster around the pyramid, as if they wish to throw themselves upon it, but instead begin to whisk the sand from its markings with little horsehair brushes. In contrast to their vocal exchanges over the last week, they now speak in excited whispers. Eventually, they shift their attention to the other structures. 2 men dusting them off, and the third making notations on one of their charts. While they go about the examinations, you deduce that the 3 piles of masonry stones are the tops of 3 towers. What you are seeing is the highest level of sprawling complex, long buried beneath the sand. At last, the Loremasters fall silent, nodding to themselves in satisfaction. Whatever their reasons, they have settled on the last tower as the one they like best. One of the Loremasters takes the Legatus aside and says something to him. The Legatus tries to argue, but the Loremaster insists. The Legatus shrugs, walks to the tower top, and disappears inside. We wait, says the Loremaster, his eyes shining with religious fervor. Wait for the Legatus return, talk to one of the Loremasters in the meantime. Da kann man überhaupt nicht. Doch, hier unten kann man. Loremaster. Enter the tower. Okay, neue Gegend und 5 Skillpunkte. Aber mir gefällt der Weg nicht, wie ich hier überhaupt hingekommen bin. Can you feel it, brother? Asks the man, breathing in deep as if the very air in this place has mystical properties. What is this complex? You're looking at Al-Akia, the man says dramatically. The birthplace of the gods. The birthplace? The gods dwell on a higher plane than we do. To walk the earth, they need human bodies. If the machines are intact, we can do it again. We can bring back the gods. Where would you get the bodies? What faithful wouldn't become a chance to be blessed by the gods and serve as a holy vessel? It is the highest honor. What are we waiting for? According to the construction plans, this entire complex was built to minimize exposure to the outside elements. If the way down is clear, we should be able to gain access to the main building. The man nods at the pyramid. And then what? If the machines are intact, we can bring back the gods. What do your machines have to do with this? How else would the gods come to our plane? Scoffs the Loremaster. The story is that the gods descended from heaven, but only a fool would take them literally. It took decades of work and thaumaturgical engines, the likes of which this world will never see again. Pray that the engines are intact. So how does one bring back the gods? You need to open a connection between the divine plane and ours, says the Loremaster, bending a thick and calloused finger as he counts the steps. You need a vessel. You need thaumaturgical engines to transfer the divine essence into a vessel. His speech is interrupted by shouts. Turning around, you see the Aurelian soldiers fast approaching. Aurelian? Das ist jetzt die von der Hauptstadt von Maldoran. Wait for them to get closer. State your business, says the Centurion, making it clear that you've been already judged and found guilty. What business is it of yours? It is forbidden to enter this area. Your lord knows it. Paulus should have known it better, says the Centurion, staring at the guards behind you. It's not going to end well. But do you know why it is forbidden? Do you know what House Aurelian is hiding from you? Whatever it is, says the Centurion dismissively, it was closed off for a reason, and it will stay closed off to keep people like you from fucking with it. Is that what you're going to tell the gods when they return? That their holy place was closed off for a reason? That you kept the faithful in the darkness for a reason? This? A holy place? Asks the Centurion. You sense contempt in his voice, but you also sense uncertainty and fear. Now is your chance. Lore haben wir eine Menge. It doesn't look much now, because your lords did their best to bury it. But in the olden days, it was a place of marvel and splendor, of tall spires and beacons of light penetrating the darkness of night and ignorance. Sadly, the beacons are no more, and ignorance reigns supreme once again. So, why it is forbidden then? Asks one of the legionaries, a round-faced man with wide-set eyes. The eyes tell you that he wants to believe. Think about it, brother. If you bow to the gods, you aren't bowing to the lords. So the question you should be asking yourself is whom you'd rather bow, because at the moment the choice is yours and nobody can take it from you. Men always fear what they can't understand, and what man can understand the divine? The key is to accept it with your heart and not seek to understand it with your mind. So tell me, brother, is your heart still pure? Can accept the divine and absolve you of your sins? Was? Nehmen wir das hier mal. Failure. Your words fail to have the desired effect on the Centurion, but several legionaries lower the weapons and walk away. Machen wir nochmal. Beziehungsweise ich mache hier erstmal einen Schnitt. Und dann werde ich vielleicht mal nachschauen, ob ich irgendwo was finde, dass man das anders angehen kann. Weil ich das Ganze mit diesem Schiff rumbringen und das hat alles überhaupt keinen Sinn gemacht und mir so gar nicht gefallen. Also von der Story her passt das so überhaupt gar nicht zusammen. Also gucke ich mal, ob ich da noch was anderes finde, bevor ich jetzt hier weitermache und noch kämpfe und so weiter. Ich will halt nicht hier dieser Holy Fuzzi sein. Ich will das Ganze, sein Dings niederreißen, wen anders da hinstellen und dann selber so eine Expedition machen oder so. Das hier war einfach Schwachsinn, finde ich. Also, ja, das passte überhaupt gar nicht zusammen. Na gut, also schauen wir beim nächsten Mal weiter. Bis dann.